And we're live. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Outsiders Fantasy Podcast. I am your host, Johnny Sunday Night, and to my left, but you're right. I got my co-host, Cadillac, here. We're just here to recap too sweet. We're here to recap the match card of Hell in a Cell. There was an addition that we did not talk about that was originally not listed on the first card that got announced during the pre-show. We'll add that in there. So we'll just start out, and I'm going to go in the best order I can remember that it went in. But they kind of went, they staggered the championship matches. They started off with one, put one in the mid card, and then ended on again. Yeah. I guess because as we predicted, or at least Chad said, going into it, the Hell in a Cell matches specifically were going to be long matches. So I think they did that in order so they didn't have 3 Hell in a Cell matches in a row and it just be so draining for the audience. It gave us
they did Hell in the Cell, non-Hell in the Cell, Hell in the Cell, non-Hell in the Cell, non-Hell in the Cell, Hell in the Cell.
Yeah.
Which that other one they threw in on us, which they were doing their pre-show while we were doing our pre-show. So
yeah. All right, so we'll start with what I was the most surprised about. The opening show was the Universal Championship match with Roman Reigns, with Paul Heyman and Jey Uso.
yeah.
Overall, I will say that the entire pay-per-view was very impressive. Overall, so you will hear that reoccurring theme. By the way, since you're drinking something, I forgot we need to pop one. I don't have a can right now, so I'm gonna try to pop a bottle. Dang, it broke. Shit. Tell me this isn't real life.
Throw it up, he's hurt.
Oh no. Don't tell me this is real life right now.
It is.
My little toppy thing broke. Anyway, I'll pretend to do it for my other can today.
Technical difficulties.
We had technical difficulties. The ring broke off.
This is live, folks. We can't afford to edit.
I like blooper reels anyway. So
yeah, I know, right?
Anyway, so the Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso match, it was very heavy, very emotional. They did really great storytelling. It was a really wonderfully done match to solidify Roman Reigns as one of the not only head of that family in the company currently, but one of the head at the table of the roster in general. That I feel like Roman's been making leaps and bounds of becoming the overall leader and one of the go-to guys in that locker room and on that roster, one of those staples. And he showed it tonight with the dominance that he could have. I'm also super impressed with Jey and what he did. Jey put on a phenomenal match as well. They were trading back and forth. It ended with, in a way that, again, we knew only Roman was going to win this match, but how they were going to end Jey, that's what was kind of in the air. Were they going to, quote, not bury him, but just completely run through him, or were they going to give him some dignity and protect his character? And what ended up happening was Jimmy came out there to try to help Jey. Roman did a great little short segment. As Nikki said, it was emotional, and the look on their faces really, they told a story for sure.
Yeah.
Jimmy came in there to protect Jey. Roman took a break off of Jey, and you could see Roman literally have tears in his eyes. And you thought in the beginning, it made you feel like that's because he realized what he was doing to his family. But then as he kept doing it and they kept cutting back to Jimmy, you could tell that, oh, wait, no, Roman's hurting because he thinks like he knows what he has to do, and that's he's got to end both of them. And then he put Jimmy up in that guillotine choke, and Jay did say the words "I quit" to save his brother. So
Samoa Joe said it perfectly. He couldn't break him physically, so he had to get his brother involved and break him spiritually. So I think that was a good way to end it. It kind of left them both really strong. All that's going to do is make the feud between Jimmy, Jay, and Roman even stronger. Now I guess the family too.
Because they had Sika.
Yeah, pretty much crowned him at the end. So I think they're doing it a good way to go off of your prediction for Mania to get The Rock involved, because Rock's going to take the Uso side and try to dethrone the tribal chief or whatever. So
yeah, I hope this is something that's stretched out all the way until Mania. Like you said, have Rikishi come in at some point.
Yeah,
Afa and Sika, get the Usos involved again. Just keep bringing the bloodline into it and just making matches after matches of just trying to. I don't know, just figuring out a way to keep this going. Maybe not even matches all the time, but like when Roman gets in matches for something in the next couple of pay-per-views or whatever, have Jimmy and Jay like jump in and just beat the shit out of Roman or some shit like that. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. It doesn't sound like super good, but I just don't want this to go away. Like, I know Roman's going to win every single time. I don't see Jay or Jimmy holding the Universal's title, but this is just such a compelling story, and they both play it so well.
But what better way to do business than to do business with your family?
Yeah. The people you've been literally wrestling with your whole life. So, yeah, for sure. Hold on. I like that better. And then after that, what was it? Jeff Hardy and Elias?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jeff Hardy and Elias, we originally first thought it was going to be Hell in a Cell match, but it ended up just being a standard match.
They did it very smart and took the cell away because they knew that Elias could not cover a Hell in a Cell match.
I agree. I was kind of relieved when I saw that there wasn't a cell. I was kind of bummed not seeing what Jeff Hardy could do with that cell, because we all know he's capable of crazy ass things. But I think overall, for that match to tell a story and to go both ways, it needed to not have a cell, because with the cell, Jeff Hardy it would just been a one-sided match more than likely.
It was pretty much Jeff Hardy doing spot after spot onto Elias's limp body, or him standing or something.
Yeah. I think it did really well. The feud's been going on for months. It's just Elias, like we said, took a back seat for a little while. Yeah. But now that the feud's come back, I agree with, I guess, what I'm assuming writing or management is saying. With the ending to this match, Jeff Hardy, Elias won in disqualification because Jeff Hardy hit him with a guitar that Elias was going to hit Jeff with originally. I think that was very smart by creative and writing, because this rivalry still has some juice left in it. And for it to end cleanly tonight, that would have basically killed off the feud, where they still have probably a couple of more pay-per-views left to squeeze out of this thing. Get it. I think they're using it more for Elias to get his traction back because he was gone for so long than necessarily to build Jeff up. So, and then maybe, I don't know what'll happen after that, but what'd you think about it?
I thought it was a good match. They're going to try to drag it on and do something with it, but there's not. I love Jeff, but he's not a strong storyline guy. He's a more in the ring storyteller. and
Yeah.
Elias is vice versa. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah.
You don't really tune in to watch Elias wrestle. You tune in to see Jeff Hardy wrestle. So
Yeah.
they're going to have to work together somehow on that, or it's going to fall flat on its face.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
I'm just a fan of I'm a fan of people that are really good at promos. I also like really good wrestlers too, but for you to
yeah,
keep my attention, you gotta be really good at promos. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think
So,
just
so
Elias.
maybe it will work out. It gives something for everybody.
I just think Elias, and I'm not trying to critique a professional that I have zero experience in this field, but he's just really, and when I say stiff, I don't mean stiff as in like he actually makes contact stiff, not
No,
wrestling.
he's very robotic.
He's so bulky and and robotic. Like it's just he has no flexibility.
Yeah.
So
And Jeff's the opposite. He's as fluid
yeah.
as water. So
I mean, to see Elias do an up and under and jump over somebody that's coming back at him from the ropes, like springboard, like over him and like lift his legs up with those jeans on, like that's a miracle in itself. So I don't know how, unless he's like with John Cena or something, I don't know how he can put on like a quote unquote like exciting match.
yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. It's kind of like those Damian Sandow things. He's like one of those characters. Like he's so endearing with the fans that you just want him to do well eventually. So yeah. And then on to what was next? Otis and Miz.
Yeah. Oh.
No.
Let's take a moment to. Was it not? I think it was.
Okay, yeah. Otis and Miz, then Bailey, then that Hurt business, and okay. Sorry, I'm getting this stuff out of order. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
Say a little prayer for heavy machinery.
Oh yeah. So
brought a tear to my eye.
Oh yeah, but that's what I love about WWE. Sometimes they just completely screw things up, but then sometimes they'll throw you a curveball every once in a while, and it just like shocks the shit out of you. And we were saying before, like the past couple of weeks at least, that Tucker's kind of lost his place in that story, in that group. He's more just like the background to Otis.
My only question is, how are they going to continue this feud on two different shows? Are they going to somehow get Otis to Raw or Tucker to SmackDown? How are they going to attack each other on each show? Because they've been separated. So that's be some kind of trade happen, or somebody get moved, like Mandy Rose got moved, or something.
I don't know. That's actually a really good point.
Because they're obviously going to do something with this, but they've got to change up the roster if they want to keep it going.
Yeah.
The funny thing it would be now is if, say, Morrison got traded for Tucker, and they had to get broke up, and something like that. So.
I think if they were on the same show still, that Tucker would just go with Miz and Morrison and make like a little. He'd be like the enforcer. I don't know. Like that's weird. That's something that we should have got more insight. Huh?
That's something that the draft kills.
Yeah.
I mean, you're only allowed to do so many storylines because you can't cross promotions or brands.
Yeah.
And now you've got a really good rivalry, but you got to figure out how to put these two guys that were separated on the same show.
In my opinion, it's a little too late. I have no idea. I don't even know where Otis goes next with this. Like it can't be. If this was Otis versus Miz over anything else, I can say, yeah, you still got something going on there. But
now you've added Tucker into the mix.
That and still the question remains, who's going to cash in the Money in the Bank? Can you see Miz cashing in on Randy Orton or Drew McIntyre during this feud? No. Can you see him cashing in randomly on Roman Reigns? No. Vince McMahon loves all three of those guys as champions so bad Miz, nor Morrison, nor Otis, nor Tucker, no anybody is going to take that Money in the Bank contract and cash it in. The only thing I see happening is I don't know what Otis is going to do, but like maybe something with a Roman Reigns storyline later on. Maybe The Rock fucking challenges Miz to a Money in the Bank match and fucking I don't know. I don't know. Or like
I don't know, man. The only thing that I can see is maybe,
like Drew McIntyre.
somehow Drew attacks Randy and leaves him laying, and then all of a sudden, Miz pops up, wins the belt. Randy gets his rematch clause. That would make number 15.
There you go.
And then him getting, then Drew still got a rematch clause.
Yeah.
He gets the belt back, and then he gets to his 16th to get to Mania. So, I mean, that's the way that you can get your belt. I mean, he's got to get to 16 before Mania if our predictions are correct.
Yeah.
So that would be a good way to get him one more, and then one more.
Yeah, and give Drew a break too, and give
Drew actually probably needs to take some time off because he's been running pretty hard since Mania.
Yeah,
I mean, I know they've been in the same city.
Yeah,
but he's been on every single show. He's done every single pay-per-view since Mania.
He fell off the side of the cage tonight.
Yeah, off their pre-made steps that they already put in.
Yeah. Tori was like, is there holes in those cages? I was like, oh, yeah. Anytime you see holes, someone's climbing up at some point.
Yep. There's holes in the cages for the cameras and for the guys to climb, and they just conveniently weld steps on the side. So you can I knew it was going to happen at the very first spot. They cleaned the announcer's table off. I'm like, yep, somebody's going to through that thing tonight. I told Vicky, I said, somebody's going through this announce table. She's like, how? They're going back in the ring. I said, they cleared it off. They already got it set up.
Right. They don't make no mistakes like that. So all in all, it was a really fantastic match. I actually like your prediction. That makes the most sense out of everything.
Yeah. We'll see. But we'll see what comes to fruition. But that's the only way I can see Orton getting to 16 before Mania.
That and stretching Drew out with him too.
Yeah. That would give them a break to break up the rivalry.
And then rekindle it,
and then roll back into McIntyre because your Money in the Bank. After your rematch clause is done, you're out of the picture pretty much. So that would push Miz completely out of the picture. Why they're putting? I know he's been part of the company for a long time, but he still drives me insane. He acts like he's Hulk Hogan or The Rock. I've been with this for 15 years. I never liked him, won't like him, can't stand him.
I mean, I think he's got his times where he could have challenged for
those days are gone.
For major championships. But ever since he started this whole Miz and Misses and like being a part-time wrestler and teaming with Morrison and becoming more of a joke, like I don't see that Miz anymore. The Miz that had that emotional promo on Talking Smack against Daniel Bryan, that's the Miz that should have.
They missed that mark.
They missed it 100%. But now he's back to the old like joke Miz.
Yeah. So let's stop talking about Miz and get to the match of the night.
The match of the night. I will agree with you. Like we predicted before going into this, anytime you put Bayley and Sasha Banks in the same ring together with that much time and in that serious
more furniture in that ring than a Rent-A-Center repo truck.
Oh my gosh.
They had furniture everywhere.
These chicks are 2 for 2 in coming through in big time places. I mean, for just for starters, Sasha's little 95-pound ass got put through 2 kendo sticks at the same damn time.
Yeah.
And those kendo sticks, if you know by watching wrestling, Rey Mysterio and Dominic hit each other with them for several weeks. It usually took about 3 to 4 strikes for those kendo sticks to snap in half. Sasha,
those things are solid slits of bamboo wrapped with a
exactly. Sasha got planted face first in some kendo sticks.
Hold into 2 of them.
Yeah, dropped toe hold on some kendo sticks that were wedged in between the steps and the cage wall, and she went through that like they were matches.
Yeah,
matches. Yeah, as Nikki said, in her opinion, Sasha has some heart. She was a beast. I agree. Sasha is a beast. I think they're both beasts, but just from how little Sasha is, like the amount of punishment she puts her body through is just phenomenal.
Well, she does have a lot of padding on her head with all that weave and shit she's got going on up there. So
I mean, not to take anything away from Bayley either, but just what they do with that chair in the corner of the ring.
So the most wrestling psychology move I saw was Bayley when she pulled out the duct tape and asked the referee, "Can you get this for me? I'm sweaty." And the ref goes, "I can't do that." I thought that was hilarious. I don't know if it was on purpose or if she just was doing that for comedic value, but the way she talks to Michael Cole and the referee, I think that's gold. She's like, "Can you do this? I'm sweaty." He's like, "No, I can't do that for you." I thought it was hilarious. But not many people caught that. I'm like, did you hear that? That was awesome.
It's those little nuances and stuff.
It's just it's the little things that go far with me. You know how to work the storyline and you know how to play your character so well. I thought it was hilarious. And then she played off the whole taping the kendo stick thing together because it was a complete botchamania. She even tripped over it. It fell down, and then she was walking, like tripped over it. She's like, "Screw it," just left it hanging.
It was ridiculous.
And then of course you got Corey Graves on commentary the whole time, and he's making gold out of all of it. So he's great when covering stuff up. Showcase Wrestling Funko. Nathan, actually, I can't right now. I was not prepared. I broke my foot, so I can't go get one real quick. On Wednesday, we're doing a pre-show before Halloween Havoc and a post-show. I'll make sure I'll have one for you if you tune in on Wednesday for the Halloween Havoc, either pre or post-show. I'll have I got 2 autographed ones. I'll show you both of them. So sorry about that, bud. Anyway, so the Sasha Banks Bayley, that I know we texted during the match, that rivals their Iron Man match in my opinion. That was close.
It was close. The Iron Man match still had more emotion to it.
But the thing is, the reason that match had more emotion, there was actually a live crowd. But to get me invested in that match as strong as they did without a live crowd, I think that was even better. If they had a live crowd there, it would have been ridiculous.
Yeah, that's true. That Bayley to Belly at the end was just textbook. Like she came down, Sasha sold it perfect. Yep. The Meteora into the table, like down or on the side of the cage.
She did 4 of them, but everything was behind something hard.
Yeah, it was like they were literally throwing everything at her. And then the perfect ending was the poetry ending of how Bayley originally started this by hurting Sasha's neck by putting her in the middle of a chair. Sasha beat Bayley by putting her in the bank statement, weaving her through a chair herself.
And pulling her face through a chair.
Yep, and that was the icing on the cake. So yeah, that ended great. Like we picked. So far we did pretty well. What did I say, Randy? We both did Roman. We both picked Sasha. We picked Jeff Hardy.
That was a DQ, so that doesn't count.
No, that's true. Otis. We both wanted.
We lost on that one.
Yeah, we both did. The whole world lost on that match.
Yeah, because nobody wanted
Otis' fault. So on to the impromptu match that we didn't quite go over. So the Hurt Business.
And hopefully you guys didn't know about this match either because it was done by the pre-show.
Yeah.
You should have been watching our show, so you wouldn't have known about it either.
But that's what we're here for, to fill you in on stuff like this.
Exactly.
So the Hurt Business got challenged by, or actually the Hurt Business challenged Retribution. Well, vice versa.
Retribution challenged.
Exactly. Mustafa Ali in the pre-show challenged the Hurt Business.
It's Hurt Business, Retribution. They go hand in hand nowadays.
Yeah.
They're interchangeable at this point.
And apparently Hurt Business got to choose whoever they wanted to, and then pick whatever part of Retribution they wanted. Yep. So, of course, they chose the Almighty, the CEO, the strongest dude on the team, Bobby Lashley, to
Looks like Thanos. Looks like an African-American Thanos.
Yeah, dude, he's a beast. He looks like he could snap somebody to death. Mm-hmm. But he chose what was his name?
See, that's the thing. They're all interchangeable. Mace, T-bar, crowbar, tire iron.
I think it started with an S. Anyway, the guy was
it was Slapjack.
Yeah, Slapjack.
Every time I hear that, I think of Jeff Jarrett and want to call him Slapnuts.
So yeah, it was against Slapjack. Sorry, just Retribution. I can't really take.
It was against Tire Gauge.
They all look the same, but it was completely a squash match from the very beginning. But we all knew that was coming. But Bobby Lashley just wore him out.
We all knew Carjack was going to get the hell beat out of him.
That was a waste of match. I don't know what they're doing. Like, if you brought these guys in, you invested in them. Mustafa Ali gave a pretty decent promo about like how no one believed in Mustafa Ali, in the beginning or whatever. Like, I believe that. And then you pair him with this BS group of people and you put him against some of the most successful wrestlers in the business with Bobby Lashley.
What kills me about that match, though, is that could have been for a Keith Lee or somebody else that could have carried that match. But they're just going to continue to shove Retribution down our throat, and us as fans are going to continue to bury them as deep as a septic tank because they're trash. They're shit. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
They have terrible ring gear. They have stupid discount Halloween masks.
We don't even know their finishers. Like, it's just
we know Mustafa Ali, who is he was mid card on 205 Live.
Yeah,
I understand you're trying to get him to step up, but obviously there was a reason he was mid card. It's not because his name is Mustafa Ali. It's just he cannot get a character going.
Yeah.
And yes, I take nothing away from him. He's a great in-ring performer, but he is not the leader of a group. I'm sorry, he's not. That's not his character. That's not his personality.
No, it's just not.
It's not yet.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say at least not yet, because like I compare him to Neville, because Neville was the same way in WWE. Like, he could never find his own character footing and his own voice. But then when he went to AEW,
but now he's gone from AEW. He hasn't been around. I don't know if he's hurt.
I don't know, but I really liked his Pop character.
Yeah, he's just in and out, and he really can't get his footing going. He's tried I don't know. But Mustafa Ali, just like you said earlier, he doesn't have anything over these guys. It's not like he's a cult leader or he pays them or anything like that. He has no bearing over these guys. So what keeps these 6'5" guys beating the crap out of this 5'10" dude that weighs 135 pounds soaking wet?
Because he can hack really well.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Maybe the
man knows the internet search history,
their vision or something.
He knows their porn history. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, I can do this. My hand is all powerful. What the hell is that? And I'm sorry, getting back on the names again. The dumbest names in the WWE: Slapjack, Mace, T-bar, Tire Iron, Carjack, Hood Latch, Door Handle.
Can opener.
Yeah, can opener. I can go in my kitchen and garage and pick out screwdriver, Phillips head,
Ballpoint pen.
Yeah. Allen wrench, 10mm socket. That's my new wrestling name. I'm 10mm socket. You can never find me. That's all.
I think John Cena's already got that role.
That's what he should have been. John 10mm socket Cena. You can't see me. But yeah, that was a stupid match. It should have never been in there. Like the Stone Cold. CW. Was it called Stone Cold?
Yeah, we discussed that as far as in one of our, it was just a random side like spat that we go on, but we talked about, and we usually bring up the best promos are the ones that come halfway from realistic points inside your personality, and that. No, he wasn't called Stone Cold, but yeah, his first Stone Cold-esque type interviews did come in ECW because Paul Heyman, when he was after he had surgery and he was in a cast, Paul Heyman paid him to literally just give promos.
Yeah.
And he literally basically shoot promos, and that's where you finally got to see that first sign of the Stone Cold character. But as far as the Stone Cold as the Attitude Era knows him, that started at King of the Ring with Jake the Snake with
he actually got the name Stone Cold from his wife that he was married to at the time.
Exactly.
He was British, and she said, "Drink your tea before it gets stone cold."
Stone Cold. Yeah.
And he took his mannerisms for that character that he created in ECW, the character, the promos from a hitman. I can't remember the hitman's name.
The Iceman.
Yeah, they called him the Iceman. So he took his mannerisms from that guy, which he started in ECW. The actual Stone Cold character did not happen until King of the Ring, but the way building started in ECW.
You kind of froze for a second, but yeah, what he was saying is it's the seed was planted in ECW. The character itself was not created until that King of the Ring promo with a mixture of his wife, and then he also did Richard Kuklinski, I believe.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, the Iceman. Also he has a really badass documentary if you like watching serial killer documentaries. It's a really old one. I recommend watching it. That dude is a Stone Cold killer. So Stone Cold actually watched videos on him to kind of get the Stone Cold mentality. And you could see how he was unapologetic. Now, granted, there's no parallels in the character. He doesn't act like Richard Kuklinski, but that with a mixture of his wife and that off-the-cuff promo against Jake the Snake, that's when the true Stone Cold character was born completely and as a whole. Because before that, he was the ringmaster, and he was the Hollywood Blonde, blah blah blah. So it just depends on how you want to look at the context. You can say, the seeds were planted in ECW, but the full character didn't come to its own until the King of the Ring.
Yeah.
But I think Nathan's got another one here. Shield started with turtlenecks, New Day wore suits. Yeah, New Day was actually a gospel acquired before they actually turned. That was the very first thing.
Well, they were trying to do like a preacher gimmick with them.
Yeah.
They just turned it what it is into today. So
just a bunch of guys having fun. Shield did start with turtlenecks. It looked very awkward, and they had their hair was all nice, and Seth Rollins had a skunk in his hair, like a skunk line, and I definitely
they were trying to find some kind of tactical gear, and they didn't have anything, so they just had black turtlenecks. So it looked like a bunch of professors that were on lunch break going kicking the crap out of Ryback. So
I wouldn't put it past it to be one of those Vince last minute get-togethers. Like, hey, do we got anything to make them look like super spy, like Jason Bourne or something? I don't know.
Give me the turtlenecks.
But I like everything evolves in WWE, and that's what I like about it. So, Dean didn't look too shabby. I like Dean, like from a male perspective. I like Dean's attire now, like the jeans. Like he looks like he dresses. If Dean Ambrose was a real person, like if he was actual Dean Ambrose in real life, like that's what I would picture him looking like. Well, I mean, except with a shirt on, but
yeah,
you know.
I wouldn't want to picture him without a shirt on. I'm sorry.
Oh man.
So main event, we got sidetracked there. We got to continue the main event.
Main event. Okay, so Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. So as predicted, that was a slobber knocker, as JR would say. Chad, you did call it. You called blood, and there was blood. And that happened after, like we said earlier, Drew got knocked off the side of the cell, which you knew was coming from the welds and the holes in the cage. But you know,
it's the table off at the beginning.
Yeah. That's still a lot of respect for Drew, because if you watched his 24 in this documentary, he's had neck fusion before. For him to fall off any height onto something like that, even if the table does break away, that's still pretty dangerous for him.
Yeah. And do you notice that there's an airbag in the table?
No, I didn't. I just knew it fell apart. Like
most of them are. So like when Shane and Taker did their spot from the Hell in the Cell, there's airbags underneath the inside of the announce tables, and they're made to break down, and they kick out the way the sides kick out, the front kicks down, and the top kicks down. But there's an airbag underneath it. Like if you notice, like the announcers aren't pushed all the way up underneath where their knees are, it's because there's an airbag there. So when he hits, it's like when somebody jumps off a building and there's an airbag there. It just releases and takes the pressure and then disassembles. So there is an airbag underneath there too. So it kind of softens their blow just a little bit.
Cool. I'm sure it still hurts. Yeah, I'm sure it still hurts.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that match was a fantastic match. It told a really great story.
You saw a different side of McIntyre. More aggressive, more sadistic. I guess when you get on the Hell in the Cell, you've got to be sadistic, or if you're going to survive. So he had to kind of get on Orton's level for that match, and I think he did a good job of that.
Yeah, I did too. I loved his suplex through the table on the outside, or not?
That was belly to belly. That was a belly to belly, son.
Yeah,
belly to belly, and he flipped his ass over backwards and dropped him on his head on some.
You could barely call that a belly to belly. That's like a legit throw. He just threw his ass over his head. Like,
that was more of a back to table.
The only thing I missed is Randy Orton's snap scoop plex slam. Sorry, that he does. That would have been real cool. But Drew's like 6'5", 6'6", so it'd be kind of hard to get his ass around that close to the net. So
good match. The only thing, and I hate to say this, that match was overshadowed by Bayley and Sasha.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, it did.
They should have made that the main event.
No offense to Orton or McIntyre, but after that match, everything was kind of downhill because it was the match of the night. Those girls put on a hell of a show. But it was a good match for what it was. It continued the feud. It got Orton the belt. I think they've got this set up now where maybe McIntyre is going to take some time off. Maybe, if nothing, maybe just a couple weeks because of his internal injuries.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll take some time off, and that'll give Miz the chance that he gets if he gets beat down by somebody, or McIntyre makes his return and kicks the crap out of him and gets Miz that window to cash it in. So I don't know. I'm interested to see how that goes.
Honestly, what I would love to see is something like Randy and Miz. Like Miz does a sneak, just really sneaky because he can't beat Randy one-on-one.
Nope.
So I think he's in a match with somebody, I don't know, and then him and Morrison kind of gang up on Randy and get him unconscious. Miz steals the belt, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden Drew. I know he deserves a rematch, but once like you've waited so long, I would like to see Drew come back at the Royal Rumble, win the Royal Rumble because he's one of Vince's dudes, and if you're a Vince dude, you usually win the Royal Rumble twice, like Triple H, Stone Cold, Roman, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him come back and win the Royal Rumble a second time, challenge Randy, and then win it at WrestleMania. Like that would be the perfect setup for me.
Yeah.
But what to do in the meantime? Because then you'd have, or I really want that, but I also our original thing that we suggested as far as John Cena versus Randy Orton, whoever wins,
Beats 16 time.
Yeah, whoever wins is the most winningest champion of all time, and it's a retirement match and all that stuff. I don't know. That's kind of like a pipe dream match that I don't think might happen. The more likely one is that Drew McIntyre situation, but either way, I'll be happy with it. As long as Roman versus Rock happens, I'm good. I don't care, whatever.
Yep.
The only thing is, speaking of Mania, the only thing that's going to be weird is not having Undertaker this year. So the first without Taker at WrestleMania. So
yeah, it's not going to be fun. But they are, as we saw in the pay-per-view, they are going to do a tribute to him for 30 years of him being in at Survivor Series. So that's going to be kind of cool.
Yeah.
And that's why they're doing this 30 days of Taker, because they're going to do 30 days leading up to Survivor Series, which is his 30th year since he appeared. So
yeah,
I think that's going to be cool. But all in all, Hell in a Cell was a good pay-per-view. On to Halloween Havoc this Wednesday.
Yeah. Interesting to see where that goes.
Yep. And guys, I do have a normal job, so I'll be working Wednesday. But I will try to catch on after the pay-per-view. We'll just see how it works out. If not, I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. But I'll be on here regardless because apparently I don't have a normal job. So
I'm kidding, dude. I got to rib you a little bit.
All right, guys. Well, y'all have a good evening. Thanks for joining us this late for the post show. And until next time, also, if you follow us on Fantasy Football, Drew and I will be on tomorrow before Monday Night Football. And then we will see you guys again on Wednesday for the pre-show of Halloween Havoc. So, too sweet as always. And peace out, guys.